Radha
Radha
Madhava O
Radha Madhava
Madhava
Radhe.
Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra
Jaya
Jaya
Jagannatha
Jagannatha Jaya
Jagannatha
Jaya Baladeva
Deva
Jaya
Jaya
Subhadra
Subhadra.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya
Jaya
Jaya Prabhupada
Prabhupada Prabhupada
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
Prabhupada Jaya
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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
So we are continuing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter number 5, verse number 37. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayamudiraye.
Tato Jayamudire
Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu.
Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhagavate Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Nasti
Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5 137. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam
Om Namo Bhagavate Tobhyam
Vasudevaya Dhimahi
Vasudevaya Dhimahi
Pradyumnaya Anirudhaya
Pradyumnaya Niruddhaya
Nama Shankarshanaya Cha.
Namah Sankarshanaya Cha
Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam
Om Namo Bhagavate Tobhyam
Vasudevaya Dhimahi
Vasudevaya Dhimahi
Pradyumnaya Anirudhaya
Pradyumnaya Niruddhaya
Nama Shankarshanaya Cha.
Namah Sankarshanaya Cha
Ayatma.
Can someone lead?
Om Namo Bhagavate Tobhyam
Om Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Tubhyam
Tubhyam
Vasudevaya Dhimahi
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
Dhimahi
Dhimahi
Pradyumnaya Niruddhaya
Pradyumnaya
Pradyumnaya
Niruddhaya
Niruddhaya
Namah Sankarshanaya Cha
Nama
Namah
Shankarshanaya
Sankarshanaya Cha.
Cha. Word to word synonyms. Om, the sign of chanting the transcendental glory of the Lord.
Om, the sign
Chanting
of
the
chanting the
transcendental
transcendental
glory of the
glory
Lord.
of the Lord.
Namaha, offering obeisances unto the Lord.
Namah
Namah, offering
offering
obeisances
obeisances unto the
unto the
Lord.
Lord.
Bhagavate, unto the personality of Godhead.
Bhagavate unto the personality of Godhead.
Tubhyam, unto you.
Tubhyam unto
Unto
you.
you.
Vasudevaya, unto the Lord, the son of Vasudeva.
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya,
unto
unto
the
the
Lord,
Lord,
the
the
son of
son of Vasudeva.
Vasudeva.
Dhimahi, let us chant.
Dhimahi, let us chant.
Pradyumnaya, Aniruddhaya, and Sankarshanaya, all plenary expansions of Vasudeva.
Pradyumnaya,
Pradyumnaya,
Niruddhaya, and
Niruddhaya,
Sankarshanaya,
Sankarshanaya,
all
all
the
planetary
expansions of
expansion of
Vasudeva.
Vasudeva.
Namaha, respectful obeisances.
Namaha,
Namaha, respectful
respectful
obeisances.
obeisances.
Cha, and.
Cha
And
and
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Let us all chant the glories of Vasudeva along with his plenary expansions, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarsana. Purport. According to Pancharatra, Narayana is the primeval cause of all expansions of Godhead. These are Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Vasudeva and Sankarsana are on the middle left and right. Pradyumna is on the right of Sankarsana, and Aniruddha is on the left of Vasudeva, and thus the four deities are situated. They are known as the four aids G camp of Lord Sri Krishna. This is a Vedic hymn or mantra beginning with Omkara Pranava, and thus the mantra is established by the chanting, transcendental chanting process, namely Om Namo Dhimahi, etc. The purport is that any transaction, either in the field of fruitive work or in empiric philosophy, which is not ultimately aimed at transcendental realization of the Supreme Lord, is considered to be useless. Naradji has therefore explained the nature of unalloyed devotional service by his personal experience in the development of intimacy between the Lord and the living entity by a gradual process of progressive devotional service activities. Such a progressive march of transcendental devotion for the Lord culminates in the attainment of loving service of the Lord, which is called prema, and different transcendental variegatedness called rasas or taste. Such devotional service is also executed in mixed forms, namely mixed with fruitive work or empiric philosophical speculations. Now, the question which was raised by the great rishis headed by Shaunaka regarding the transcendent confidential part of Suta's achievement through the spiritual master is explained herein by the chanting of this hymn consisting of 33 letters. And this mantra is addressed to the four deities or the Lord with his plenary expansions. The central figure is Lord Sri Krishna because the plenary portions are his eight G-cam. The most confidential part of the instruction is that one should always chant and remember the glories of the Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his different plenary portions expanded as Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. These expansions are the original deities for all other truths, namely either Vishnu Tattva or Shakti Tattvas. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Guru Shramam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशितारिणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओम तत्सत्. Repeating the verse and translation. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Aniruddhaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha. Let us all chant the glories of Vasudeva along with his plenary expansion Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Sankarshana. Okay. So we are last week, and I mean this is we are almost towards the end of this chapter number 5, and Narad Muni here is inspiring Vyasdev to take up the literary task of glorifying Lord Sri Krishna, to turn his attention from the preoccupations which he had in the composition of Mahabharata, basically Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, and to turn himself entirely to the service of Lord and the glorification of the Lord. And for this purpose, he's giving a variety of instructions, which is this part we can say it's focused specifically on abhidaya or on the practice of devotion or bhakti. So it is significant that we are hearing these instructions from Narad Muni and he gives the specific instruction to worship the Chaturvyuha. What is that? Um, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Sankarshana. Right. So here, I mean, if you see the verse, the order of this names is different. So it's like Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and then Sankarshana. But the expansion comes like first is Vasudeva or Krishna, then comes Sankarshana, who is his plenary expansion or brother. Then then comes Pradyumna, who is the son of Lord Krishna, and then Aniruddha, who is the grandson of Lord Krishna. But here in this verse, the order is different, which is Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshana. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that the reason of this could be that Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshana, the order is like this. It could be the reason that they are the presiding deities for creation, maintenance, and annihilation. So that could be the reason of this order in this verse. Now, Narad Muni is a paradigmatic teacher of this system, which is called this Pancharatra, or so, or sometimes Srila Prabhupada also refers this to as Narad Pancharatra. And there are many works that go into this category of Pancharatra, and one of them is called this. One example is the Jaikya Samhita, and the Jaikya Samhita is instructed by Narada, and there is a Padma Samhita, then there is Ahirbhutna Samhita. So in theory, there are some around 108 texts, and scholars have managed to find, I think, about 70 of those, or 70 past few decades. But it's interesting that Narad Muni is here speaking in sort of a Pancharatra mode. And for one thing, it shows that the Bhagavatam, the comprehensiveness of Bhagavatam, is such that it indicates this Pancharatra teachings. Uh, Pancharatra literature, basically, it has texts which have very extensive and very detailed and very elaborate, sometimes very complex explanation of how the Supreme Lord, he's like who's also usually referred to as Narayana, is mentioned here, and how he connects with this world. And because Narayana is entirely transcendental, here we are in this world of matter, and how this connection is made. Like Narayana is in the spiritual, and he's transcendental, and we are in this world of matter. Then how is this connection made? So this made through his expansions, and of course, descendants or avatars. So in the purport, Prabhupada uses this word AIDS decamp. So first of all, I didn't know the meaning of this word, and so I googled it a bit. I think it explains. HD cam means the assistant who helps the assistant of the senior officer. So these plenary expansions are like the HD cam of Lord Shri Krishna or Vasudeva. eh? So, so ultimately, this connection is made through the Archa Vigra or Archa Avatar, and the Archa Avatar becomes the most accessible form of the Lord in this world. And we can't see the Lord directly, so Lord has descended in the form of the Archa Vigra, and we worship the deities, or Archa Vigra means deities, so we worship them to make our connection with the Lord. So they are accessible anytime we go into the temple or the home or in the home altar, and anytime we remember the deity's form, many ways that we connect with the Lord in his deity form. So that is one of Narada's tasks. And another point which relates to all of this is, which is not explicit in Bhagavatam, but it's very much suggested that uh, Pancharatra is as whole. It is that literature which connects people of all backgrounds to the Vedic teaching. And Prabhupada mentions here in the purport that this is a Vedic mantra. And why does he say it is Vedic? Because it begins with the syllable Om. And this identifies it as Vedic. But some people, they argue that Pancharatra is not Veda. That's another matter of debate. Because Shankaracharya said that it's not Veda, but Yamunacharya said it is. And he wrote the whole book on this subject matter. But yeah. So now this word Om, Let's discuss a little bit on that. So, what is Om? Says Akarinuchyate Krishna Sarva Loke Nayaka U Karinuchyate Radha Ma Karu Jiva Vachakaha. So we have read in Bhagavad Gita before that Om, Krishna says, is the sound vibration. He's the letter in this Om. Is a sound vibration. It's Om. So Omkara is the combination of letters. Like if we write in English, it's said OM, but when we pronounce literally, it's like AUM, Om, right? So this is a combination of letters A, U, and M. So A, it's Karinochete Krishna. The letter A, or it's called as Akar, refers to Krishna, who is Sarva Lokai Nayaka, the master of all living entities and planets, material and spiritual. Nayaka means leader. He is the supreme. So he is Sarva Lokai Nayaka, and it represents Krishna. Now he is the supreme leader. Then the letter U or Ukara, like we are going with AUM, the Om letter. This Ukara or the letter U indicates Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Krishna, and M, the Makara, Om, Makara indicates the living entities or jivas. So thus this Om is a complete combination of Krishna, his potency, and his eternal servitors. Now, throughout all the Vedic scriptures, the glories of Omkara is specifically mentioned. And Srila Jiva Goswami in this thesis, Bhagavad Sandarbha, says that in the Vedic literature, Omkara is considered to be the sound vibration of the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And only this vibration of transcendental sound can deliver a conditioned soul from the touches of Maya. So sometimes Omkar is also called deliverer or Tara. Right? Tara means to deliver. So this Omkara is sometimes called as deliverer. And Srimad Bhagavatam also begins with the Omkara vibration, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Therefore, Omkara has been described by the great commentator Sridhar Swami as Taranpura, the seed of deliverance from the material world. And since the Supreme Godhead is absolute, his holy name and his sound vibration Omkara are as good as himself. There is no difference between Krishna, his form, and his name. So then you can question like if Om is the Taran Pura, or if just by chanting the Om or Omkara it can deliver us, then why should we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Right? Om is such a short word and we can just say Om and then get delivered. And why should we chant Mahamantra? Why just not Om? So it is explained clearly in the 21st chapter of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya that the sound representation of Omkara is non-different from Krishna. Right? Omkara is one of Krishna's innumerable incarnations. Krishna has many incarnations, and Om is one of his incarnation, and it is completely transcendental. So the impersonalist, however, has a tendency to place more emphasis on Omkara and less on the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared specifically to teach personal love of God through the chanting of supreme name of Krishna. And for purification, we need to concern ourselves with no other teaching than those of Lord Chaitanya. And what he taught was that in this age of Kali, there is no other way to achieve God realization than by chanting the holy names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in this mantra also Omkara is there, and one may chant Omkara and achieve impersonal realization. But we are Vaishnavas and we are seeking the supreme perfection. Therefore, it is recommended that we chant the supreme name of Krishna. This is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So each mantra is directed towards something. Like each mantra has ultimate goal. So chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is directed towards the service of the Lord, the loving service of the Lord, and that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he gave this mantra. He propagated chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so we follow him. Then Prabhupada also says in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2 in one of his lecture that Krishna says Pranavaha Sarva Vedeshu. I am the Omkara in the Vedic mantras. Right? Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surya. Omkara is as good as Krishna. That is also Krishna. So either you chant Omkara or Krishna, there is no difference. But in the Shastras, it is recommended that you chant Hare Krishna, not Omkara. So you have to accept Shastra. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu practically demonstrated. He was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Vandam, Krishna Vandayati, Hare Krishna. So we have to follow the Shastra and create saintly person. Otherwise, there is no difference between Omkara and Krishna. But because Shastra recommends Hare Nama, Kevalam, we have to accept it. So we just follow Shastra. Now, the Vedic conclusion is that the Vedic truth starts with its most condensed aphorism, the Omkara, the Vedic symbol. And this Vedic symbol or this same truth is further expressed as the Gayatri mantras, especially the Brahma Gayatri. Then it appears in the form of the Vedas. And thereafter, this Vedic knowledge has been summarized into the Vedanta Sutra, the essence of the Vedas. And finally, the Vedic conclusion is given in its fullest expression in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the spotless evidence by which one can know the absolute truth. That's why it's called as Srimad Bhagavatam Amala Puranam and the perfect commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. So, what is this mantra? What does this mantra mean? Man means mind, and tra that delivers or that which delivers us from this material pangs. So, this kind of meditation that will deliver us from the mind. That is why it's called as mantra. And it is this Hare Krishna mantra is also called as Maha Mantra because Maha is greatest. This is the greatest mantra for deliverance, and this is the only recommended way in this Kali Yuga. So why should we worship this mantra? We'll read in the next verse also. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the next verse, verse number 38 in purport that our present senses are all made of material elements and therefore they are imperfect in realizing the transcendental form of Lord Vishnu. He is therefore worshipped by sound representation by the transcendental method of chanting. Anything which is beyond the scope of experience by our imperfect senses can be realized fully by the sound representation. So it's quite a important one to meditate on. That our senses are currently made up of material elements, and therefore they are imperfect in realizing the transcendental form of Lord Vishnu. Many people they say, if there is God, then show me God." So, but our senses are imperfect. How can we see Lord? What have we done to see the Lord? Right? So he is therefore worshipped by sound representation. Krishna has also incarnated in the form of a name. It's also called as Nam Avatara. And anything which is beyond the scope of experience by our imperfect senses can be realized fully by the sound representation that is given by Srila Prabhupada. Now, this mantra is there. Uh, so many people they speculate, or we can also speculate that can we chant this mantra like a read from the scriptures and then just read it or just chant it without any supervision or without receiving this mantra from a guru? Why do we need a guru, or why do we need to receive this mantra from a guru? That's a very valid question, and many people ask this question because they don't feel like having a need of guru. They just read Bhagavad Gita and accept Krishna as their guru and then understand everything. And so, why do we need to receive this mantra from a guru? It's a very important point. So, in that matter, there is one story where there was a child and he was very much addicted to eating sweets and sugars, right? So his mother was really worried about it, like my child is eating a lot of sugar and sweets, so it's not good for him. So in those days, people they know that if they get some the blessings from a sadhu or any quite elevated person, then they will get some blessings and he will stop eating too much sweet and sugar. So the mother takes her child to that sadhu and ask him that, can you please bless my son that he stop eating more sugar and the sweets? But the sadhu didn't give him the blessings immediately. He said, okay, you go home and you come after 1 week. I don't eat, but you don't come after. You come after 1 week. Then we'll see. So the mother got really disappointed that why this sadhu said you come after 1 week, and why didn't he give the blessing? So she was a little bit disappointed. And then after they went back home, and then they came back to the sadhu after 1 week, and then the sadhu blessed him that okay, now onwards you don't eat too much sweet and sugar. It's not good for health. So he blessed him like that. So the mother got really curious that why this sadhu, like he could have given this blessings earlier as well when we met the first time. Why he had asked them to wait for 1 week and then come. So basically, that teaches us this receiving this mantra is not just a matter of exchange of words between a guru and a disciple. It's about how we follow the instructions of the guru, right? The sadhu gave the instruction that you come after 1 week. So we just follow that instruction. We don't speculate or we don't doubt on a spiritual master that why my spiritual master has said like this, right? So there is a reason behind that. So if we follow the instructions of the spiritual master, then our life will be perfect. Then another example we see in Srimad Bhagavatam is from Dhruva Maharaj. Right? He was disrespected by his stepmother, and then when he goes back to his biological mother, she instructed him to go to forest and search for Krishna, right? Because he had a desire, he had a demand to have a bigger kingdom than his father's kingdom. So he was doing tapasya. He was in the forest and he was all over searching for the Lord. And then Narad Muni appeared. And we all know that Dhruva Maharaj was able to see Krishna at the end. But what happened before that when he met Narad Muni? Basically, he received this mantra sadhana or mantra diksha from Narad. Then Dhruva Maharaj did the rigid tapasya. That is a byproduct of sadhana. And then he was able to see the Lord, or he was able to have the darshan of Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj sees the Lord through mantra diksha, right? So this mantra is also called as confidential, and Narad Muni uses this word japa, which indicates that the mantra to be chanted is very confidential. So one may ask, if it is confidential, why is it mentioned in the writing in Srimad Bhagavatam? So, confidential in this sense means one may receive a published mantra anywhere, but unless it is accepted through the chain of disciplic succession, the mantra does not act. It does not give you effect. You can read the mantras from any book, but unless you accept it through the chain of disciplic succession, the mantra does not act. And it is said by authoritative sources that any mantra chanted without having been received from the disciplic succession has no efficacy. So that is why this is important to receive this mantra from Guru, and uh, and especially more important, it should be in the bona fide disciplic succession, not anyone, any random person. And then only it will give us the full effect or full benefit of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, what is the power of Hare Krishna Mahamantra Japa? In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse number 25, Krishna says, right, Yagnanam Japo Yagnosmi. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. So when we chant Japa, we are directly associating with the Lord, the Krishna, because Krishna and his form are not different. Then Namna Amakari Bahuda Nija Sarvashaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smarane Nakala Etadashi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdeva Mitrisham Mihajani Nanuraga. So this Mahamantra is invested with Krishna's transcendental energies, and there is no hard and fast rules. Right? You can chant this Mahamantra anywhere in any situation. I think last time, in last verse, we took an example where Narad Muni was asking one personality to chant Lord Rama's name in a bathroom while having shower, and Hanumanji thought it's not good that you chant up your name in the bathroom, and he punched him. And when he goes back to Lord Rama, and Lord Rama shows his face with that punch mark, and then he explains that his form and his name are non-different. So whenever we chant Krishna's name, Krishna is personally present with us. And there is no hard and fast rules. You can chant anytime, anywhere, in any situation. For other mantras, there are certain rules and regulations that you have to pronounce it properly, and you have to be in a very, pure Brahmana clean state. And but for this Maha Mantra, there is no such hard and fast rules. Anyone can chant, anywhere you can chant, and in any situation you can chant. Then this is also the conclusion of Vedic research that Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Iti Shodashaka Nashanam, Kali Kalmasha Nashanam, Nata Prataropaya Sarva Vedeshu Dushyate. So after searching through all the Vedic literature, one cannot find a method of religion more sublime for this age than these 16 names composed of 32 syllables, and they are the only means to counteract the evil effects of Kali Yuga. This is quite important one to remember in this current time situation, because I speak to many people, and all of them, they, like, everyone has some problem in their life, challenges in their life. But what is the solution? Are we taking the right medicine for this problem? That is the question I ask in my response, right? So we all have material problem, but the biggest problem is that we are trying to find a material solution for the material problem, which doesn't help us. So for the material problems, the only solution is a spiritual solution, and that is this chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And this is the only means by which we can counteract the evil effects of Kali Yuga, right? We are all suffering because of our past karmas and the effects of Kali Yuga. But those who chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra received in a disciplic succession, bona fide disciplic succession, then this effects of Kali Yuga doesn't act up. They are protected by the disciplic chain. So this is the Vedic research and the Vedic conclusion as well. Then we all know that Kali is the ocean of faults. In Srimad Bhagavatam, when we reach to that point in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, which chapter number 3, is one verse is there, Kaler dosha nidhe rajan asti hi eka mahan guna kirtana deva krishna se mukta sangha param vaje. So my dear king, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of fault, there is still one good quality about this age, that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. This is another important point to remember, that we find out faults. Okay, Kali Yuga has different many faults. It's an ocean of faults, right? We can count numerous problems. If we just give you a hot topic to debate on the problems of this material world, we can go on and go on, unlimitedly. So this is an ocean of fault, but still there is one good quality about this age, is that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can be free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Such an easy task, right? What is stopping us to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Simply you have to sit, take a mala, and just chant. Spend some time with Krishna every day. Like how we discussed last time, also Mother Yashoda was, when she was churning the butter, she was thinking about the childish activities of Krishna. Dadi Nirmantane Kali. So that time when she was chanting the yoga, she was remembering the childish activities of Krishna, and she was composing songs for Krishna. She was chanting Krishna's name. So what is stopping us to chant Krishna's name? Because that is the only way which we can be delivered from the miseries of this Kali Yuga, or this material bondage. Such a easy thing. You don't have to go and sit in a meditation in a forest for millions and millions of years. You just have to sit at home, sit on a chair or any comfortable position, comfortable place, and then sit and chant. It's such an easy process. And this is far above all mundane pious activities. Right? We people are more into performing pious activities or charity activities, but this is far above all those pious activities. Go koti danam grahane khagasya prayag gangodaka kalpavasah Jagnayuta Meru Suvarna Danam Govinda Kirter Na Samam Satamshahi. Even if one distributes 10 million cows in charity during an eclipse of the sun, lives at the confluence of the Ganges or Yamuna for millions of years, or gives a mountain of gold in sacrifice to the Brahmanas, he does not earn 100 part of the merit derived from chanting Hare Krishna. Imagine how much benefit chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra gives us. Now, there's seven important benefits of chanting holy names. Shatru Chedakai Mantram Shakala Upanishad Vakya Samupajya Mantram Samsaro Cheda Mantram Samukita Tamasah Sangha Niryana Mantram Sarvaisa Varkaya Mantram Vyasana Bhujaga Sandashta Santrana Mantram Jihave Shri Krishna Mantram Japa Japa Sadatam Jamma Safalaye. So it says, O tongue, please constantly chant the mantra composed of Shri Krishna's name. This is the only mantra for destroying all enemies. That is number one. Okay, you can count or you can write it down. First is mantra for this is the only mantra for destroying all enemies. Second, this is the only mantra worshipped by every word of the Upanishads. Third, this is the only mantra that uproots samsara. Fourth, this is the only mantra that drives away all the darkness of ignorance. Number five, this is the only mantra for attaining infinite opulence. Number six, this is the only mantra for curing those bitten by poisonous snake of worldly distress. And number seven, this is the only mantra for making one's birth in this world successful. This is the quite important point. Seven, so mantra for destroying all enemies. It is worshipped by every word of Upanishad. This mantra uproots the samsara. It drives away all the darkness of ignorance. This is mantra is for attaining infinite opulence. This mantra is for curing those bitten by poisonous snake of worldly distress. And this is the only mantra for making one's birth in this world successful. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela also it mentioned there is no other way. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalau nasti eva nasti eva nasti, eva gatiranyatha. So this eva nasti comes three times, right? In this age of Kali, there is no other means, no other means, no other means for self-realization than chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name of the Lord Hari. Without chanting the names of Lord Hari, we cannot go anywhere. That is the only solace, that is the only shelter which you can take off in this Kali Yuga. Now the question arises, what is the ideal japa? How should we chant this Mahamantra? So in the Dhyanachandra Goswami's this Gaura Govinda Chandra Samarana Paddhati in verse number 64, the ideal japa is mentioned. Mano madhye sthito mantro, mantra madhye sthitam mana, mano mantra samayuktam, etadhi japa lakshanam. I'll repeat it again. Mano madhye sthito mantro, mantra madhye sthitam mana, mano mantra samayuktam, etadhi japa lakshanam. The mantra firmly situated in the mind firmly situated in the mantra, such a seamless connection of the mind and mantra is the characteristic of ideal japa. Okay, I'll repeat this translation again. The mantra firmly situated in the mind firmly situated in the mantra. Such a seamless connection of the mind and mantra is the characteristic of ideal japa. Prabhupada also wrote a letter in this matter to Govinda, and he says, of course, we have to control the mind, and I have already instructed you and all my students that the restless, fickle mind can only be controlled by putting the mind to the lotus feet of Krishna, and that can be best be done by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and there is no alternative in this age. By chanting without offenses, the devotee cries to Radharani and Krishna to please lift him out of the material energy and put him into the spiritual energy, which is devotional service. So when we are chanting in this uh, Smarana Paddhati says that the mantra should be firmly situated in the mind should be firmly situated in the mantra. So when we are chanting, it should not be like that. We are keeping a nice uh, a photo or a photo of a Lamborghini car or or a luxurious car in front of, and then seeing that front this luxurious car, we are chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and we are thinking, oh please Lord, give me this Lamborghini car, give me this Jaguar car, please make my life luxurious. And suddenly this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra becomes Om Lamborghini Naya Namaha, something, right? So we should not do that. When we are chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, our only aim and our only concentration or focus should be on the sound vibration of this Maha Mantra, because it's your personal association, it's your personal time with Krishna. Imagine Radharani and Krishna has come to your house and you're not talking to them. Right? Krishna said, okay, I'm going to spend some time with you, and then you're busy in something else. Then do you think Radha and Krishna will stay during that time? They will say, no, there is no point staying here because this person is not even talking to us. So what should we do here? So Srila Prabhupada says that we have to control our mind, and only way is by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And we should, um, like, it is natural for the mind to fickle and to go away or to wander. But the only way which we have to practice to control the mind is to bring back our mind back to the sound vibration. So the more practice we do like that, the more mantras we hear. If your hearing is better, if our Shravanam is better, then our Kirtanam will be better. So this Shravanam and Kirtan is very important. So we have to chant and hear. So from our mouth, we have to chant this Maha Mantra. From our ear, we have to take it back in. Right. So in Japan, there is a thing like whenever people retire that country, they go to a certain place where they do only fishing. All the retired people, and when like in fishing, they have to throw that uh, what do you say, that fishing net or something, and they have to wait for some time patiently. Right? It's not like that you put the string inside and you immediately the fish will catch the bait. So they put the bait inside and then they wait for some time. They wait patiently for the fish to catch it. And if it doesn't catch, then they pull it back in and then again through. So similarly, when we are chanting this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we have to speak out, we have to chant it loud, and we have to take it back in from our ear. So when we repeat this process of chanting, uh, keep chanting loud this Maha Mantra from our mouth and taking it back from our ear, in this process, the mind will get attached to this page or this Maha Mantra. And then you will feel that taste of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, chanting this Maha Mantra. So we have to repeat this process, chanting, taking it back in, chanting, taking it back in, chanting, taking it back in, and the mind will eventually get attached to this mantra. And then we will be able to chant without any offenses, and we just pray to Radha and Krishna to engage us in the service, right? Like as I said, each mantra is directed towards something, and this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is directed towards the loving service of Radha and Krishna. So the more we chant, the more offensively we chant, the more they will engage us in their services. The more we are engaged in the services, more closer we become to Lord Krishna and Radharani. The more closer we become to them, it's easier for us to remember them at the time of death. And if we're able to remember them at the time of death, we go back to Krishna. So that is the process. And in Patanjali, I'll just end it here with this last one. In the Patanjali Yoga Sutra 1.14, it says how to perfecting our practice. So our practice, your practice will bear fruit when it encompasses three secrets to success in yoga. First, you have to practice for a long period of time. Second, your practice must not be interrupted. You must do it regularly. No matter what situation you are in, never give up. It should not be interrupted. You must do it regularly. And third, you must do your practice with sincere devotion. Sa tu dirgha kala nairantarya satkara adara sevita drada bhumi. Practice becomes firmly grounded when well attended it for a long time without break and in all earnestness. So we have to practice it for a long time. We have to practice it without any interruption. We must do it regularly. We should not make any excuse that okay, today I can't chant, or tomorrow I can't chant. I have so many things to do, so many problems in my life. It's just an excuse. We have to chant it without interruption. Then only it will give us the result. And third, you must practice it with sincere devotion, right? I had some long time back, I had heard from His Holiness Radha Nath Swami Maharaj that, he was explaining this importance of chanting Mahamantra, and he mentioned that even if this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra hurts me, I will still chant. Even, right? So that's quite a powerful statement that even if it hurts me to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I will still chant. So in any situation, we have to chant it for a longer period of time, and we have to chant it with sincere devotion. Then our practice will be perfect and it will bear us the fruit. This is the secret to success in yoga. So I'll stop here. Uh, are there any questions or any reflections or any realization or any comments? It was too much. Didn't understand anything. Okay, it's good that if everyone understood. So we'll stop here. And this is the last few couple of days. Damodar Kartik is ending tomorrow. So don't forget to offer your lamps. If you have not done any other service, don't worry. You still have 2 more days to offer your lamps to Krishna. Sorry, yes, Shavran Prabhu, have any comments or question?
Prabhu, one simple question. This is mainly for like new devotees, uh, especially when a person is curious what this Hare Krishna Mahamantra means. What are these 3 words should we explain, especially for new, where they have no background or anything, like for Hare and Krishna and Rama? What should we mention to them?
Okay. So you see, uh, it's like a bhakti vaccine, right? So we are taking vaccination from COVID or from any other disease to save us. So this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a vaccine. So these 3 letters, Hare Krishna and Rama. Hare is the energy of Lord, which represents Srimati Radharani. Krishna is all attractive, and Rama is means one who gives pleasure. So just by chanting this combination of the 3 letters, we can achieve all perfection in our life. And there is no other method anyway, but this is the easiest one which we can follow in this Kali Yuga, because other methods requires lot of purification, and you have to chant, pronounce the mantras correctly. If you chant, pronounce anything incorrectly, then it gives you the wrong effect or the bad effect. But this mantra doesn't give like that. Even some Chinese people, they don't have this ra in their uh, syllables or in their alphabets, so they chant Hare Krishna like that, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So even if they're chanting Hare Krishna, they are still getting benefit. Doesn't matter if someone chants in a happy mood or someone even chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra in sense of criticizing someone, still they get benefit of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And this process in itself is so purifying. You can chant anywhere. If you're walking, you can chant. If you're driving, you can chant. If you're cooking, you can chant. So there is no hard and fast rule for that. If someone is chanting any other mantra, which is also okay, we are not stopping anyone to chant those mantras, but only thing which we ask is to add this mantra to your process, to your spiritual practice, and then you see the difference. And you will find out the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is much, much more easier than chanting any other mantra. And when you receive this Mahamantra in a disciplic succession, then you'll yield all the benefits out of it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji, for asking that question. Okay, so we'll end here today, and those who are fasting for Bhishma Panchaka, uh, all glories to all the devotees. So please continue, and tomorrow we'll end it by end our fasting tomorrow. So please offer the lamps if you are not done so, and so till tomorrow you can chant, you can continue and chant more and more, so you can intensify your chanting in last 2 days of Kartik, so that you get more and more benefit. Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Granth, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, fast breaking would be tomorrow night, Prabhu, or like day after tomorrow morning?
No, tomorrow
like,
night. Tomorrow night, Prabhuji.
Tomorrow midnight, Prabhu, something like that, or tomorrow
No,
morning?
afternoon. Evening, sorry. Evening you can break.
Okay, tomorrow evening. Okay,
Yeah.
sunset. Okay, very good. Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks.
Hare Krishna.
Panchakalpa.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Okay.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.